Mr. Sergeant at Arms, invite the members into the chamber and close the doors. I hereby declare the House of Representatives of the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee now in session. Will members please stand? The visitors in the gallery please stand and remain standing through the Pledge of Allegiance. Representative Pearson will introduce the chaplain of the day. Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Speaker, and good morning. It is indeed good for us to be here, especially after a historic vote at the United Nations yesterday, recognizing the enslavement and chattel slavery as one of the gravest crimes against humanity. And it is also not lost on me that tomorrow is the third anniversary since the Covenant School shooting, where Haley Scruggs, Evelyn Deekhouse, William Kinney, Mike Hill, Cynthia Peake, and Dr. Catherine Kuntz lost their lives. Today, we have Reverend Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, who earned his PhD in religion from Princeton University. I think he's the only person with a PhD on the State House floor, having achieved the pinnacle of academic excellence. He is presently a distinguished university professor at the Divinity School at Vanderbilt. He's a premier public intellectual and author of over 25 books, including 7 New York Times bestsellers. But I first saw Dr. Michael Eric Dyson before I ever met him. My parents, Dr. Kimberly Owens Pearson and Reverend Jason C. Pearson Sr., ensured that we watched CNN's Black in America, a 2-day special back in, I think, 2008. It was there that I met Dr. Dyson and his brother and learned about the differences that their lives had taken and the reasons why, varying from colorism to access to opportunity. Years later, I would see him at Rankin Chapel at Howard University while my dad attended Howard for his master's in divinity. Dr. Dyson believes what I believe as a Christian and as a person of faith. The God of the cosmos and of time itself loves everybody, and no person can make God smaller than that. He believes Jesus is not a token that gets taken off the shelf to separate, bludgeon, or disparage people, but an example by which we should be living our lives, fighting for the oppressed, the marginalized, the immigrant, the disinherited, the widow, and the disenfranchised, which is all inherently a political act, so political that they had to lynch our Savior. Dr. Dyson is in the pantheon of theological scholars, a hermeneutical genius and a prophetic orator in the lineage of Dr. James Cone, Howard Thurman, Dr. Frank Anthony Thomas, Reverend Dr. Alvin O'Neill Jackson, Reverend Dr. Gina Stewart, Reverend Shirley Owens Prince, and Reverend Dr. Samuel DeWitt Proctor. It is my honor, distinguished privilege to have and to welcome to this State House Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the great Representative Pearson, for the honor of praying before this august body under your brilliant and engaging invitation. I'm deeply grateful to you for your kind and generous gesture, and I thank the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, and Majority Leader William Lamberth, and Minority Leader Karen Camper. May we pray. Dear God, we come to you for comfort and blessing. Our world is on fire with bigotry and bombs. Despots rule populations with ruthless authoritarianism. We are in the midst of an extraordinary battle for the soul of America. We are in the shadow of the 3rd anniversary of the Covenant School shooting, and yet we still worship guns. In our country, we claim to love freedom, but we resent those who seek to practice it beyond mere creeds. We say we love the Constitution, but we undermine it at every turn. We say we love the Declaration of Independence, yet we fight against equality for all citizens. We deny meaningful life to those who we dislike through unjust laws. We deny liberty for those we despise through a deluge of unconstitutional rules. And we deny happiness to those we abhor through the arbitrary exercise of brute power. Although you encourage us through sacred words to remember the past, too many of us seek to erase history through lies. We seek to ban books that tell the truth about our country's long, bitter, and still unrealized pilgrimage to freedom. Too many of us support the First Amendment when it favors our slanted side and our distorted views. Slavery was central to the definition of the United States of America. Slavery was crucial to our arguments about who we understand ourselves to be and who gets to say so, and how that knowledge should shape our society and politics. Dear God, spare us from the hypocrisy of a breed of white evangelical piety that emphasize the adjectives white more than the noun evangelical. The hatred of blackness circulates in the lungs of the beast of white Christian nationalism, and we can feel the fire flaming from the nostrils of the dragon of black animosity. Too many of our white evangelical brothers and sisters toss in with a petty, prevaricating pariah who is a callus on the heel of American government and a wound on the body of American democracy. Dear God, we are victims of a tyrant whose malignant narcissism seduces too many citizens to mimic his deadly deceitfulness and emulate his corrupt character. His mouth is full of lies, baffling, corrosive, and tendentious lies, lies that mock any shred of honesty left in our politics, lies that are made up on the spot to justify wacky and wicked actions that lack a hint of intellectual depth or moral decency. Dear God, he and his compatriots attack DEI, and yet they lack the presence of mind to acknowledge that their mendacity is driven by mediocrity.
Yes.
It is a mediocrity so pervasive and paralyzing that it is laughable that they dare attack women and queers and black folks and indigenous people and brown folks and, yes, immigrants. Their ICE initiatives, whether on the streets of our cities or at airports, are the frozen edges of a bombastic militarism that undermines the law and disrespects the lives of ordinary citizens. Dear God, permit us in this hour of chaos and strife to find our way back to you, the God of the vulnerable, the God of the lost, the God of the oppressed. May we find ways to oppose hate and embrace love, oppose violence and embrace peace, oppose terror and embrace security. Teach us to love and uplift one another, and in so doing, uplift the precious principles and life lessons that you have taught us for centuries. Amen.
Amen.
Representative Pearson will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, my friend. All right, appreciate it.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Roll call.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Speaker, 79 members present.
Let the general effect that Representatives Lafferty, Hale, Martin of Carroll are excused. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Welcoming, honoring, and announcements.
Representative Parkinson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that the Sergeant at Arms escort our guests into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the guests to the well.
come on. Come here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on. I want to make sure I pronounce it.
Representative Parkinson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, please read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1056 by Representative Parkinson, a resolution to recognize and honor U.S. Marine Corps veteran Joe Northington. Whereas our nation was conceived by individuals who were willing to sacrifice their personal safety and concerns to ensure our individual and collective freedom, and the volunteer state is especially proud to be home of so many valiant men and women who have performed above and beyond the call of duty. And whereas the citizens of Tennessee have throughout the years been called upon to take up arms against the enemies of this great nation, risking their lives and leaving their loved ones behind to honorably safeguard the freedoms and liberties guaranteed to all citizens of these United States and vanquishing those who threaten our way of life. And whereas while the heroic deeds of Tennesseans have been extolled throughout the history of our state and nation, the distinguished military service of every proud Tennessean should be illuminated, shared, and properly honored. And whereas one such individual is Joe Northington, a gallant veteran of the United States Marine Corps, whose courage, composure, in perilous circumstances helped save the life of a fellow service member. And whereas in the darkness of war, a deadly explosion tore through a Marine platoon, leaving men critically wounded, including Lieutenant, who was bleeding severely from multiple shrapnel wounds. And whereas without hesitation, Joe Northington stepped forward and treated the wounded. He applied a tourniquet and helped stop the lieutenant's bleeding and stabilize him. And whereas with no proper signal for rescue, Mr. Northington improvised using only a pen light placed in a ration can to guide a medevac helicopter safely to their position. And whereas then alongside fellow Marines, he carried the lieutenant to the helicopter, thus ensuring he made it out alive. And whereas while no offering can properly relay our gratitude for his bravery and dedication, it is most appropriate that we should honor Mr. Northington to the full extent of our ability. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we recognize and honor U.S. Marine Corps veteran Joe Northington, extending our gratitude for his bravery during battle and our best wishes for his ever continued success and happiness.
Representative Parkinson, you're recognized.
Honestly, it makes me incredibly emotional when I read the story and to hear the clerk tell the story again. People don't know or understand. They see us and, they see the commercials about what it takes to be a Marine. We have a motto that says, adopt, improvise, overcome. That is what the clerk just read to you in the actions of Joe Northington, Marine. But we rarely have the opportunity to have two Marines here, one that survived the story and the one that saved him in one place. And I want to, if you will, Mr. Speaker, I want to allow Marine John Mason to tell that story, if it's okay.
You're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Joe Northington is a national hero, and for over 50 years, no one recognized it. I was, for a very short time, his platoon commander. At night, after dark, the radio man hit a booby trap, blowing off his foot, wounding Joe's squad leader in the head with shrapnel and stitching me from my ankle to my ear on my right side with shrapnel. Joe called corpsman up. The corpsman addressed his wounded squad leader and the radio man who lost a foot. He looked at me and I was bleeding profusely. He put a tourniquet on my right arm to stop an arterial bleeding, which saved my life. He then retrieved the radio so we could call in a medevac, so we could report our position, move the patrol base from a knoll to the bottom of the knoll, take casualties off, and call for a helicopter to come get us. When the helicopter arrived on station, Joe came back to me after helping his squad leader down. He said, the pilot needs a strobe light. I said, we have no strobe light. I was a platoon commander for 8 months in combat, and I never had a strobe light. I did have a pen light and a C-Rite can, and Joe put the pen light in the C-Rite can, called the helicopter in, it landed, it took out the 2 other casualties and waited for me. I tried to stand and collapsed. I couldn't stand. Joe saw it, he got 4 other Marines, he put me on a poncho and took me to the medevac, carried me on. And as we were boarding, I looked at him and said, what's your name, Marine? He said, I'm Joe Northington. He saved my life. I'm here. I have 57 years because of this national hero. He is my hero. He should be your hero also. One last comment. When your life is saved and you know someone has saved your life, you try to live a life worthy of that person who saved it. I have tried to be kind and honest and dedicated and knowledgeable and faithful for the rest of my life, thinking of Joe Northington. I've tried to live that life, Joe. Now, I've said all I'm going to say. I want you to say something, please. Mr. Speaker.
You're recognized.
But first, giving honor to God. But without him, I don't call myself a hero. I call myself a survivor. My heroes, the heroes, was ones that didn't make it home. The ones that gave their lives for this country and each other. And that was the main thing, for each other. Fellow Marines, we became brothers, comrades. One wanted to look after the other. In other words, our job when we had assignments was to do as told, but to look after each other. And this I'll say, when I went as a replacement to Mike Company, it was 55 of us as replacement troops. When I rotated back home, I'm one of 3. And that's God was in that, because everybody had the same training, but God brought me home. Now, I had a grandmother that said, you pray, and I'll pray for you. And that is what brought me home. And what Brother Mason has said may be true, but to me, it was just doing my job. And those medals, they didn't mean a whole lot. Those that didn't get medals, that's who I loved. That's who was for me. I was for them. And I would do like any other Marine. I would sacrifice myself for comrades. And today, as y'all honor me, I thank you. I didn't fantasize that it would be like this, because many years had passed. When I came from Vietnam, I came back into the world that didn't really honor the Marines, Army, whoever. That was what they did in Vietnam. That campaign was never called a war. It was a conflict, political conflict. Back in them days, it was draft. If you didn't go to college, you didn't get a ferment. I think that's how you say it. The thing is, I did what I was called on to do for my country. And I thank you all from one to the other, because in my time there, we had a Filipino, we had Puerto Rican, we had Caucasian or white, we had black from all over the country. But once they came together, we were Marines. And thing is, I'll say, and I'll say for all Marines out there, simplify and thank you.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank our Sergeant at Arms, Bobby Trotter, for bringing this to my attention, bringing this story to me. And you know, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, every fabric of me, for bringing this to me, because this has been, honestly, in the 16 years that I've been elected, the best presentation that I've ever presented before this body. And so again, Lieutenant, thank you for your service. Joe, thank you for your service, and to your family, you know, thank you for sharing him with us. We deeply appreciate it. And all of the members that have served in our armed forces, thank you all for your service. You know, I hope this drives home to, you know, those members that have not served, how much you should all be appreciated. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if you'll come down for a picture, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Doggett, you're recognized.
Speaker, I request that the Sergeant of Arms escort our guest into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the guest to the well.
Y'all keep coming around. Come on, y'all gonna have to fill in. We're gonna have to get close. We're gonna have to go deep.
the basketball team is.
Okay, all right, good. Y'all did good.
Representative Doggett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was a lot of folks that just come in. I don't know if y'all have been used to clapping that long before, so. But Mr. Speaker, I request that the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, please read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1213 by Chairman Doggett, a resolution to honor and commend the Richland High School Lady Raiders basketball team upon winning the 2026 TSSAA Division I Class A state championship. Whereas it is fitting that this General Assembly should salute those student athletes who, through their extraordinary efforts, have distinguished themselves as true champions of whom we can all be proud. And whereas one such exemplary group is the Lady Raiders girls basketball team of Richland High School, whose members have proven themselves to be the fiercest of competitors and truly worthy of admiration by winning the 2026 TSSAA Division I Class A state championship. Whereas in the championship game, the Lady Raiders prevailed over Middleton in a heroic struggle that will be remembered forever in the Richland community, winning by a score of 34 to 33 to claim the gold ball trophy that signifies the state champion and finish their 2025-26 campaign with an outstanding 28-3 record. And whereas this year marks the first state championship in program history for the Richland Lady Raiders with their victory in the Glass House in Murfreesboro, following on the heels of their District 9A and Region 5A championships and their sectional victory that punched their ticket to the state tournament. And whereas no strangers to awards and accolades, all 5 seniors on Richland Raiders girls basketball team were named to the Basketball Coaches Association Tennessee All-District Academic Team. Those seniors finished their high school careers having compiled 99 victories over the past 4 years. And whereas the members of the Richland Lady Raiders basketball team epitomize all that is good in today's student athletes, as they have achieved a premier level of success in competition while exhibiting the highest degree of character in all aspects of life. And whereas the perseverance, determination, work ethic, and talent of this group of young women not only made possible a championship, but also surely bode well for their future success. And whereas the members of this General Assembly find it appropriate to acknowledge and applaud the Richland Lady Raiders for their historic season on the hardwood, now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we honor and congratulate the players, coaching staff, team support staff, administrators, cheerleaders, and fans of the Richland High School Lady Raiders girls basketball team upon winning the 2026 TSSAA Division I Class A state championship, and extend to them our best wishes for every continued success in all their future endeavors.
Representative Doggett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This incredible season was a journey of heart, hustle, and unbreakable belief. The Lady Raiders finished with a 28-3 record, went undefeated in district play, and claimed both the District 9 1A regular season and tournament titles. They dominated on their path to Murfreesboro, rolling past strong opponents with tough defense and rebounding, fighting through a thrilling overtime semifinal victory against Greenfield, and then delivering in the ultimate test. In a nail-biting championship game at the Glass House in Murfreesboro that came down to the final seconds, these young women showed heart of true champions. They edged out a hard-fought victory over Middleton and bringing home the gold ball for the first time to Richland High School. None of this happens without extraordinary leadership. For over 25 years, Coach Chad Hall has poured his heart into this program. He built a culture of toughness, accountability, and family. He demanded grueling practices focusing on defense and rebounding, made selfless decisions for the good of the team, and never let the players settle, even after reaching the state tournament for the first time in decades last season. Coach Hall turned belief into reality and helped these young women make history. And he also got his 500th victory this season. This title belongs to every player who poured her sweat onto the court, every coach and staff member who guided them, every family who supported the early mornings and late nights, and every fan who believed from the beginning. To the Lady Raiders and Coach Hall, you didn't just win a game, you made history. You showed what happens when talent meets toughness, when teamwork overcomes everything, and when a community rallies behind its own. Mr. Speaker, I present to you the 2026 Class 1A TSSAA Girls Basketball Champions, the Richland Lady Raiders.
Representative Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to ask that Coach Chad Hall make a few remarks.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Doggett. I'm so old that Mr. Doggett actually attended school as I've been teaching at our fine establishment at Richland High School. That tells you how long I've been around. I'm very unworthy of this, but these ladies, both to my left and right, are very, very worthy, and we're honored to be here today. Thank you so much for having us. God has been good to us, and I hope He has been to you as well. Thank you.
Representative Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I saw Senator Hensley in here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Well, ask he make a few remarks.
Senator Hensley, recognized.
Thank you, Representative Doggett, but it's just an honor for me to represent Richland in the Senate and congratulate these girls and the coaches for their great success and hope they have much more in the future. But thank you, Clay.
Representative Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've got several mamas and daddies and grandparents and Raider Nation in the balcony. Where you at? Let's hear you. They should have done better than that. You're right. We've got the cheerleaders with us too, Mr. Speaker, and they are world champions. I think, state champions, and they go down to Orlando every year and compete. It's a championship program. We're really blessed at Richland. So would you come down and take a photo with us, Mr. Speaker? All right, we're gonna gather around and
I know.
yeah, let me.
Welcoming and honoring anyone seeking recognition. Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have with me a page from Hickson Middle School, where I graduated 50 years ago. Emily Hernandez Martin, no relation to me, and I want you all to make Emily feel welcome today. We're so glad that you're here, and once a wildcat, always a wildcat, Emily. So make her feel welcome. And then, Mr. Speaker, I would like to also welcome to the gallery today some folks from Hamilton County, Ramona DeSalvo, Joyce Saluski, Ed Curley, and my friend Jay Walling, who are here today, that have worked hard on a bill that is going to be in front of us today, and they're here to watch that come to fruition today. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the Sumner delegation would like to welcome to the gallery today one of Gallatin's finest, but it's not his law enforcement background that brings him here today, but his love for history, Tennessee history, and especially Sumner County history. Members, if you would welcome Chris Lauderdale to the House today. Thank you.
Representative Wright. Representative White, pardon me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to welcome, it's my honor to welcome William Taylor. William, he is a page today. If you come on out where we can all see you. Come on out right here. William Taylor is a House page today. William is here today because he placed second in the 3rd through 5th grade category of the 2026 Tennessee Secretary of State Civic Essay Contest. He's a 4th grade student at Enlightenment Academy. So let's please welcome William. Thank you for being here.
Representative McCallum.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, members. To my left up in the gallery, I have my beautiful wife of almost 19 years. She's been putting up with me for 20. She is here to make sure that I am indeed doing what I say I do up here. And I'm also joined by my nephew. He is here still from Texas hanging out with us. So if you all would make them feel welcome.
Representative Idle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I'd like to introduce and welcome Dr. Mark Kapperman and his wife, Anita, from Hamilton County. A very well-respected optometrist, and in our community, he's also known as the rural doctor, and that is he serves the people of Honduras every year with mission service. So we appreciate you and your love for our community, but also the world. Thank you.
Representative Capley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I got a two-parter. First of all, I'd like to recognize a page I've got from the 71st District, Mrs. Raya Estrada. She's over there in the back. Y'all make her feel welcome, please. Here she comes. Thank you, thank you. And everyone, we are proud to report that my friend, our friend, Representative Hemmer and I, and your friend, Dr. Brock Martin and his wife, Miss Krista, had their newborn baby, Mr. Stockton James Martin, and mama and baby are doing very well. So y'all give them a big round of applause. Thank you.
Representative Renaud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just kidding. It was on the consent calendar. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
Representative Fritz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask my colleagues to just rise for a moment of silence in memory of a dear friend of mine, a fellow Sunday school member, Miss Linda Davis Plemons, who went on to be with the Lord this week. She will be missed as a prayer warrior, as a friend, as an adopted grandparent to many of us, longtime member of First Baptist in Rockwood, and she's going to leave a tremendous void that's going to be difficult to fill, but we are all indeed glad that she's with the Lord Jesus now. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Johnson.
Thank you. I would like to welcome the Resistance Singers of Nashville here to the Capitol today and thank them for being the voice of those voices who need to be heard so much for all of Tennessee and especially for our vulnerable communities. Thank you, Singing Resistance Nashville.
Representative Brickens. Representative Brickens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We need to thank Safer Tennessee for that great breakfast they put on, and a special thank you for serving grits, which is the first time I've had it in the Capitol. So thank you.
Representative Pearson.
There we go. Thank you so much. Representative Tom Leatherwood and I are introducing my cousin, who is a page for today, and his amazing family is up there, the Drapers and the Dye family. And Tom wants to say something.
Yeah, I want us all to welcome and honor Nolan Dye. He's a winner, one of the winners in the Secretary of State's statewide essay contest. And I want to take everybody, we've got some sharp looking people up here, no doubt about it. But Nolan, come here, Nolan. Come here, Nolan. He is the sharpest dressed person in this chamber today. So let's all welcome and honor Nolan, our page. Thank you.
Representative Ron Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate the opportunity. Just wanted to take a moment to recognize my daughter, who turned 22 yesterday. Crazy. When I came to this body, she was 6. It just blows my mind that she is there. So she's at Belmont, graduated in May. Super proud of her. Love her very much. Happy birthday, Lou.
Representative Parkinson. Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have some folks here from Overton County today. The Willow Grove Mennonite School is here today, and got the opportunity to meet with the governor earlier, and I'm not sure if they've made it in the gallery yet or not, but I want to welcome them to Nashville today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Sapicki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to welcome top 10 from Hampshire and Spring Hill. If you'll welcome to the General Assembly today, everybody.
Representative Parkinson again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if you will, we lost an incredible, important, valuable member of our community this last week, and Larry Bland. Larry Bland was a longtime barber in the North Memphis community with Bland's Barbershop. Served thousands and thousands of people in the North Memphis community, and I want his family to know that we are standing, in prayer with them and in regards to this huge loss to the Memphis community. And if we can have a moment of silence, Mr. Speaker. Amen.
Thank you. Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I, along with my colleagues, Vincent Dixie and Harold Moses Love Jr., would like to welcome the men of the legendary 5th District of the greatest fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, to Nashville. We're going to be here this weekend. You're going to see a whole lot of purple and gold this weekend. And, so I am the junior member in this house as it relates to being a legislator. But within the 5th District, I get to tell them what to do. Again, I'd like to welcome those brothers from across the states of Kentucky and Tennessee. I saw that, to Nashville. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, tomorrow is the 3rd anniversary of the Covenant shooting that occurred, the tragedy. And so if we could, I'd ask all the members to rise and remember the lives that were lost. Evelyn Deekhouse, William Kinney, Haley Scruggs, Catherine Kuntz, Mike Hill, and Cynthia Peak. Let's please give them a long moment of silence. Thank you.
Representative Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I want you to help me welcome Mr. Ryan Labari. He's a senior at Vanderbilt University and has a future interest in public policy and government. So let's make him feel welcome.
Representative Keisling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're missing Representative Michael Hale today, members, but I have the honor of filling in for him. But standing beside me is Ava Skelton from Smith County High. She is a junior there in beautiful Smith County. She has also just placed second in our Tennessee Secretary of State Civics Essay Contest. 4,603 participated in that. She came in number 2, members, number 2. With her today are her parents, Joe and Diane, and they're here today. Following session, they're going to be touring the Capitol, and I'm sure a full afternoon ahead. So would you please make Ava and her parents welcome? Thank you.
Representative Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like for you all to help me welcome Dixon County youth group here from Dixon County. Let's give them a big round of applause, please, for being here. Thank you.
Representative Sherrill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to say thank you for a great hamburger that we had this week. Appreciate that very much. Very good. Just want to announce this coming week, we do have, on March the 31st, we have Bologna Day. So, or we can say Tennessee round steak. It'll be March the 31st. Come and eat a big old bologna sandwich.
Representative Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to congratulate my son, Braden Terry, for successfully defending his dissertation yesterday at Vanderbilt. So we are about to have a new and different type of Dr. Terry in the state of Tennessee. So congratulations to him.
Representative Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, we are well represented today by the 69th House District, and Speaker Sexton standing here with me to welcome my friends up here in the gallery from Lewis County leadership. Y'all stand up and wave, everybody. And on my left in the gallery, thank you to Representative Littleton for welcoming the folks from Dixon County as well. Youth Leadership, Dixon County.
Representative Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With getting the lighthearted stuff out of the way, if the members will rise with me today, we lost a leader in Dixon County this week. More than just a leader, she was my friend. Beth Marshall lost her fight with cancer this week. She and her husband, John, have been integral members of our community. With their giving, their support, their volunteering. Please.
Thank you. Representative Sparks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we honored some heroes this morning. I want to honor some more heroes. Men of valor, and I appreciate this Tennessee General Assembly for investing in them. Many of us went to the breakfast this morning, got to hear Governor Bill Lee's testimony about pardoning Jelly Roll. It was really neat to hear him talk about Jelly Roll remembers him coming by before he was governor at Harding Place Correctional Facility. Let me tell you why it matters, members. Our system is totally unsustainable financially. My county's got to build a jail, but you can't build schools. It's alarming. Men of Valor teaches job readiness, work ethic, marriage, parenting, recovery, and other necessary life skills that are taught through their study and application of God's Word. Here are some startling statistics that we need to know. Tennessee spends $1.6 billion on prisons, $1.6 billion and growing. 50,000 men and women are incarcerated in Tennessee. 95% of those that are incarcerated
Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Introduction to resolutions.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With it, all resolutions properly filed were introduced pursuant to Order number 17 and placed on the consent calendar or referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate Joint Resolutions congratulatory and memorializing.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I move that all Senate joint resolutions congratulatory and memorializing line that has be placed on the consent calendar pursuant to Order number 17.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Resolutions lying over.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That all resolutions line over be referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Introduction of bills.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bill 2664 be introduced and passed on first consideration.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate bills on first consideration.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate bills 550, 1,659, 1,670, 2,031, 2,047, 2,065, 2,139, 2,184, 2,194, 2,197, 2,213, 2,219, 2,226, 2,233, 2,318, 2,326, 2,331, 2,354, 2,361, 2,363, 2,402, 2,403, 2,468, 2,530, 2,547, 2,650, and 2,652 transmitted by the Senate be held on the desk pending third consideration of their companion House bills.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate bills on second consideration, House bills on second consideration, petitions and memorials, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, calendars. Mr. Speaker, the House has a consent calendar.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Chair Lady Moody, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of the consent calendar on third and final consideration in keeping with Rule 50.
Chair Lady Moody moves passage of the consent calendar. Probably seconded. Ms. Clerk, any objections have been filed?
Mr. Speaker, item 4, House Joint Resolution 1163 has been objected to by Chairman Powers. Item 49, House Joint Resolution 1208 has been objected to by Chairman Clemens. Item 50, House Joint Resolution 1209 has been objected to by Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Anyone seeking recognition on the consent calendar? Representative Renaud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do have a host of HJRs on the consent calendar to recognize City of Chattanooga police officers who were recognized in our city for their work. I want to especially point out Daryl Slaughter, who was honored with the Chattanooga Police Department as Investigator of the Year, where he has an unprecedented 93% clearance rate for 28 homicide cases, far exceeding the 61% national average. And this would not be possible without the leadership of Chief Chambers. It does matter who lead, and we're so appreciative of our law enforcement in Chattanooga. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting on the consent calendar. All members in favor vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, no nays.
And received constitutional majority, I declare consent calendar passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, the House has a regular calendar.
Call the first bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 5 by Chairman Bolso relative to civil damage awards. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk.
Speaker Pro Tem Marsh, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, I know I'm out of order, but I have a special page today. Nico Higgs is with us today. He's back here in the back. Nico, if you're here, step out. Here he is right here. Nico placed first in the Secretary of State Civic Essay Contest for the second grade in the state from Thomas Magnet School in Shelbyville. Nico's parents are here. Ray and M.A. Higgs, and his grandparents, Al and Mary Simmons. Welcome them, please.
Chairman Boso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to SB 419.
Chairman Boso moves substitute form Senate Bill 419, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Boso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of SB 419 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Boso moves passage of Senate Bill 419 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Ms. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that carries with it Amendment 1-1. So we're ready for House Amendment 2, House Health Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Amendment number 2 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 3 with Chairman Boso, Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Chairman Boso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Amendment number 3 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 4 with Chairman Boso, Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Chairman Boso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Boso moves adoption of Amendment number 4, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we're on the boards. All those in favor of adopting Amendment number 4, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Leatherwood, aye. Alexander, aye. Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 71, 22 nays.
Amendment number 4 is adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further.
Chairman Boso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is a pro-life bill which seeks to hold out-of-state abortionists financially responsible when they illegally send abortion pills into the state of Tennessee. As all of you know, in 2022, Tennessee adopted the Abortion-Inducing Drug Risk Protocol Act, which made it a Class E felony for persons to send abortion pills into the state of Tennessee. Despite the fact that it's a felony, that practice is continuing, and in fact, it is accelerating. This bill creates a cause of action in favor of the family of any unborn child who is killed by an out-of-state abortionist illegally sending abortion pills into the state of Tennessee. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Boso renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Bain, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As this bill clearly violates the federal interstate commerce clause by preventing prescription drugs from interstate travel, I move that this House bill be recommitted to the Judiciary Committee for further consideration. Thank you.
The motion is to send or refer Senate Bill 419 to the House Judicial Committee. Proper motion, probably seconded. We're on the board. All those in favor of sending or referring Senate Bill 419 to House Judicial, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Ayes 22, 71 nays.
Motion fails. Deputy Speaker Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman Bolso, I want to thank you, Chairman Terry, Chairman Farmer for the work on the bill, and thank the AG's office for the collaboration to give us the bill that we have in its form now. I appreciate you guys working together to bring such positive, strong, pro-life legislation. Members and Speaker and Chairman, it's been a journey in Tennessee since 2014. 2014, with the passage of Amendment 1, our state has gone from the top 5 in abortions to the bottom 5. And that journey somewhat ended in 2019 when we passed the trigger bill with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And now our state has become one of the strongest pro-life states in the country, saving up to 10,000 babies a year. The legislation that we passed, you recognize the issue that outside entities have looked to circumvent the work that we've done in an effort to continue killing babies. So I want to thank you for standing for the unborn. Tennessee is a strong pro-life state. We continue to lead the nation in that, and thank you for your efforts.
Chairman Bolso.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Zachary, you're completely correct. We are and remain probably the most pro-life state in the country, but our work is not finished. We have work to do here on the floor this morning and going forward.
Chairman Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Chairman Bolso, for your work in protecting the unborn. As we discussed in committee, there were a couple of points that were raised by my constituents, and you were very eloquent in answering them. Will you, again, for the benefit of the rest of the audience, answer those questions? As I said, the first one was that, yes, it is our core value and belief to honor and protect unborn life. Considering that, somebody who has taken that unborn life, are we making it possible for them to monetarily benefit? That was the one question or skepticism that one of the emails I read said that, and it was put in a good perspective. And the second thing you had also explained with your lawyerly mind was about the shield laws. And that has been said where some states can protect their purveyors of these abortion pills against lawsuits from other states. So if you will kindly, for the benefit of the general audience, explain those, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Chairman Bolso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Chairman Kumar, for those questions. Let's deal with your first question first. Why is it that the bill would allow the mother of the unborn child to be a beneficiary in a wrongful death action? And the answer, Chairman Kumar, is twofold. First, our hope and expectation is that no one will ever need to bring a wrongful death action on behalf of an unborn child killed with out-of-state abortion pills, because our hope is that passage of this bill will deter those out-of-state abortionists from sending abortion pills into Tennessee in the first place. That's our major goal here, not to compensate families because they lost an unborn child, but to prevent the death of the unborn child by deterring these out-of-state actors. But then secondly, I referred earlier to our Tennessee Abortion-Inducing Drug Risk Protocol Act, which makes it a crime to send abortion pills into the state, but it explicitly does not make the mother a criminal in the same way. It explicitly says that there is no crime by the mother who actually orders or receives those abortion pills. So our civil cause of action follows and parallels the criminal statutes that we have, both in Title 63 and in Title 39. Neither in Title 39 nor in Title 63 do we criminalize the mother of an unborn child. The criminal penalties are placed in the case of Title 39 on a physician who performs an abortion, or in the case of Title 63, the out-of-state abortionist. And because we have a tradition in Tennessee of treating the mother not as a perpetrator, but as somewhat of a victim of these criminal actors, we continue that same format here in the civil cause of action. Your second question, Chairman Kumar, dealt with this issue about shield laws. And we have 22 states across the country right now, plus the District of Columbia, that have enacted laws attempting to shield out-of-state abortionists from either criminal or civil liability of states in which abortion pills are sent to. And the issue with those shield laws is that they are effective when it comes to criminal penalties, because they will refuse to extradite someone who commits a felony in Tennessee by sending abortion pills in, which makes it very difficult for our Attorney General and for our district attorneys to prosecute under Title 63 criminally, because the local law enforcement officials will not extradite the wrongdoer. But in the civil side, these types of cases, this wrongful death cause of action, can be brought in federal court under what's called our diversity of citizens statute. That's 28 USC Section 1332. And because a case of this nature by a Tennessee resident against an out-of-state abortion pill provider can be brought in federal court, the state shield laws will not have any effect on a judgment coming out of a federal court. And those are my answers to your questions, Chairman Kumar.
All right. Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question's been called. There is objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of previous question, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 68, 26 nays.
Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 419 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 71, 23 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 419, having received the constitutional majority, hereby declare passed without objection. Motion to reconsider table. Make the journal reflect Leader Camper's excuse. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2109 by Representative Boyd and others, relative to liability for actions of demonstrators. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2222.
Chairman Boyd moves substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2222. Probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2222 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Boyd moves passage of Senate Bill 2222 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1, Mr. Speaker, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Remember, Senate Bill 2222 is pretty simple. If a person or an entity pays someone to protest, and during that protest, that person commits any of the, there's a whole list of things that they could commit, but things such as aggravated rioting, disorderly conduct, disrupting a meeting, obstructing a highway, harassment, civil rights intimidation, civil disorder, disorderly conduct at funerals, any of those types of offenses, and there's damage to property, the financier of the paid protester can be held civilly liable. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion.
Chairman Boyd renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I know we've had conversation on this bill, but I think it's very important to note that this has never been proven and never been seriously considered in the state of Tennessee. The only time where we know there have been proven paid protesters was January 6th in Washington, D.C. We know for a fact that there were paid protesters. The determination and how you're going to determine this, it's sort of outrageous to think about. But the reality is this is a solution to a problem that we do not have. That's it. Just a statement.
Okay, that works. Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I just want to point out, you both described the time that you know that it happened, and at the same time that you're telling me that it doesn't happen. So if it doesn't happen in Tennessee, then we don't have anything to worry about.
Representative Johnson.
That's right, but that's why we're spending a whole lot of the state's time and money on something that is not happening. And, maybe on the other hand, I should be for this because you guys are the ones that claim it a lot, and you even claim proof, but have never been able to back it up.
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maybe you should be for it. And nothing shows your support of a bill like signing on as a co-sponsor. And there's still time if you want to come up here.
Chairman Clemens, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And what is the definition of a paid protester as you described it?
Chairman Boyd.
So the compensation would mean a salary, fee, payment, or reimbursement, or other valuable consideration, or a combination thereof, whether received or to be received. Demonstration means a public gathering of one or more demonstrators protesting against something or expressing views on political issues. And a demonstrator means a person who takes part in person in a demonstration.
Chairman Clemens.
So thank you. So if a member is a paid staff member of an organization who organizes a demonstration or a protest, they could be held liable under this legislation. Is that correct?
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the person that's actually doing the protesting, depending on what they do, they could be held, in fact, criminally responsible for it. But if damage is caused, there's destruction of property, or there's any sort of litigation on this, the person that's paying them could be held civilly liable. So yes, to answer your question, that if it gets out of control and their idea of demonstrating or protesting includes burning a building down, tearing a statue down, or committing assault, then yes, the person that's employing them or paying them could be held liable.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for that clarification. So just hypothetically, if an organization like Moms for Liberty, which has paid staff members, and they had a demonstration or a protest up here and something went awry, that organization itself could be held liable, as well as those who are there and on the payroll of that organization could be held liable under this legislation.
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, if they commit certain offenses and there is cause for some sort of lawsuit, damages are inflicted, and they go to civil court, then yes, they could be held civilly liable.
Chairman Clemens.
And so what about anybody else who is paid in any capacity, such as, let's say, a legislator, a U.S. senator, whoever who participates in one of these protests or demonstrations because they receive a salary and they're acting in that capacity? Would they also be liable under this legislation?
Chairman Boyd.
That would have to be determined at the time based on the language of the law. If this is adopted, if we pass this and it's signed into law, that somebody would have to look at that at that time.
Chairman Clement.
Well, that creates a real problem for this legislation. If it's not clear in this legislation, it makes it unduly vague, which is really hard to enforce, which makes it legally questionable in an enactment. So I guess the issue is whether or not, people on both sides of the aisle show up for constituent groups, organizations that may or may not agree with them or support them in some way. And if let's say a legislator in this body happens to show up, we all receive pay of some sort, and we're there in our capacity in support or maybe even opposed to this organization. Something goes awry at this demonstration or protest. I think we need to know who all is going to be held liable in that circumstance.
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So they would have to pay them specifically for the purpose of demonstrating. So if you work for, in the example that you gave, you mentioned lawmakers, like if we showed up to something like that, we're not being paid by the state to go demonstrate, we're just on the payroll. But so it would, notwithstanding the law to the contrary, a person who provides compensation to a demonstrator in exchange for the demonstrator's participation in a demonstration may be held vicariously liable. So I think that they would have to prove that they were paid for the purpose of going to demonstrate or protest.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So to the extent that that organization donates to a member of the legislature or provides them a stipend of some sort in exchange for their appearance at that event, if that's ever done, that person, that legislator, that official would not be held liable?
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If they were paid explicitly to show up and demonstrate, that's the way the language is written. I flipped to it because you'd asked that question. It's right here in front of me. So if the person or entity provides compensation to a demonstrator in exchange for that demonstrator's participation, then they could be held vicariously liable. And I mean, we could sit here all day and game out situations where and try to get me to identify whether they would be held civilly liable. To a certain extent, they'd have to go to court. They would have to prove, they would have to discover that they were in fact paid for that purpose.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We all, of course, want peaceful protests. We want peaceful demonstrations. We want to support that. So I'm concerned about the limitation on our ability to do that with a cloud above that looming threat.
Chairman Boyd.
I don't have anything, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman Boyd, does this piece of legislation prevent, under our current laws or the Constitution, both in the Tennessee and the Supreme Court, anyone the ability to protest?
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, absolutely not.
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, because it seems our friends from the other side believe that whether you are an employee, an employer, or an independent contractor, or what have you, that your actions, if they're directed by someone above you, should be free and clear of criminal responsibility in its clearest form. Is that what you're hearing from our folks on the other side, or am I missing something?
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It sounds like that's what they're implying.
Representative Garrett.
And your piece of legislation, as I'm reading it, will make those that either pay someone, and by the way, I wish it would be that compensation didn't have to be a part of this. Only the fact that they worked for a particular company, that it will actually go to a funeral, a service that is dignified, that's honoring someone that's passed. If they go and have conduct that's disorderly at a funeral, what I'm hearing from our folks on the other side is they want those folks to get a free pass. That there's no liability for someone coming to a ceremony like a funeral, that they have zero responsibility if they paid them, directed them, and said, break this up. Our friends on the other side want there to be no criminal responsibility for those actions. Is that what your bill will prevent?
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, it does sound like that. And so I would think everyone would be for this, because if there is an organization that is using a person, they're paying them to go out and do their demonstrating for them, and then they commit one of these offenses in there, I would want the organization that was the mastermind behind the protest to begin with. I think they should be held civilly liable. I'm surprised this is not a bipartisan piece of legislation, because I would think in any case, we wouldn't want the little person to have to take the fall for the big organization that put them up to and paid them to go commit this crime.
Representative Garrett.
I wholeheartedly agree. I appreciate you bringing the legislation. I look forward to supporting it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Travis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. There's objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of previous question, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 69, 21 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2222, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 71, 20 nays.
Senate Bill 2222 having received a constitutional majority, hereby declare passed without objection. Motion to reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2112 by Representative Boyd, relative to charitable organizations. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill is on the desk.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2642.
Chairman Boyd moves substitute and conform Senate Bill 2642. Probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2642 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Boyd moves to Chairman Boyd moves passage of Senate Bill 2642 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Farmer moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Probably second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, Senate Bill 2642 is hopefully a piece of legislation that we can all get behind. Across the state, we have heard from charities and nonprofits that were supposed to be the beneficiaries of non-probatable assets that were held by financial institutions. And oftentimes those financial institutions will drag the process out for sometimes well over a year, asking for more and more tedious pieces of information. This would simply create a streamlined affidavit process that would be uniform across the state, for which the charities and nonprofits would submit to the financial institution. and it puts a few other guardrails in place. But ultimately, this will get the money in the hands of those nonprofits quicker. Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Board renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2642 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 94, no nays.
Senate Bill 2642, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2598 by Leader Love and others relative to midwifery. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill's on the desk.
Leader Love, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2286.
Leader Love moves substitute form 2286, Senate Bill 2286. Without objection, so ordered. Leader Love, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2286 on third and final consideration.
Leader Love moves passage of Senate Bill 2286 on third and final consideration. Second, Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
Mr. Speaker, no amendments filed.
Leader Love, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this piece of legislation directs the Commissioner of Health to use existing resources to conduct a study of neighboring states to determine the level of independent practice provided to certified nurse midwives. The purpose of the study is to examine the varying levels of practice independence that may or may not be granted to certified nurse midwives in neighboring states. The Commissioner shall compile the findings of the study and any recommendations the Commissioner may have in a report and transmit the report no later than December 31st, 2026. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Leader Love renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2286, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 88, no nays.
Senate Bill 2286, having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Let the journal reflect. Representative Harris is excused. Call next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2279 by Leader Cochran and others relative to foreign actors.
Leader Cochran, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of HB 2279 on third and final consideration.
Representative Cochran moves passage. Following second. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Farmer moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Leader Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. HB 2279, it creates a new criminal framework in Tennessee addressing transnational repression, which that is an act conducted on behalf of foreign adversaries or foreign terrorist organizations. The legislation targets intimidation, harassment, coercion, surveillance, or enforcement actions carried out within the state at the direction or influence of a foreign adversary nation. And members, just to give you a quick example of what this would entail, specifically, a lot of times the CCP will use student organizations at public universities, and they will plant an agent in those student organizations, and they will use that person to harass Chinese descendants, folks who are American citizens who may have immigrated from China long ago, but the Chinese Communist Party will still place agents in certain places to harass those folks. It's happened throughout the country. In 2024, it happened in Massachusetts, actually at Harvard. And so there are numerous incidents where this has occurred. And so it's just ensuring that if it happens in Tennessee, that it enhances the penalty. And with that, I will yield to any questions and I renew my motion.
Clerk Cochran renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand that this bill draws a line around 6 countries and says their influence is a felony, while we have an entire body of Tennessee law that exists because a different foreign government, the state of Israel, has spent millions of dollars lobbying members of this body for years to aid and abet their agenda. So I just want to understand a little bit more. In September 2025, the Israeli government paid for approximately 250 state legislators from all 50 states, including Tennessee, to attend a conference in Jerusalem where the Israeli foreign minister urged attendees to pass anti-BDS legislation in their states. Under the framework of this bill, how is a foreign government paying legislators to visit and then asking them to pass specific legislation different from the transnational repression we're criminalizing here?
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To my knowledge, the nation of Israel has never advocated for the overthrow of the United States government, unless you have evidence showing otherwise.
Representative Bain.
Thank you. Another example, the Memphis Police Department's current chief completed leadership training with the Israel National Police. Multiple programs funded by organizations like ADL have brought hundreds of U.S. law enforcement officials, including from Tennessee, to train with Israeli Defense Forces. Does this bill address the influence of any foreign government on Tennessee law enforcement or just the ones on the designated adversary list?
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will repeat. To my knowledge, the nation of Israel has never advocated for the overthrow of the United States government. They are an ally, the same way that Great Britain, France, Canada, numerous other nations are allies to the United States, and we coordinate with them on numerous efforts. If you're not clear on the difference between Israel and Iran and their relationships with the United States, I'm not sure that I can help you.
Representative Bain.
Thank you. Those relationships are tenuous based on administration to administration. You are passing law that criminalizes foreign adversaries based on the subjectivity that you define within this body. The bill says foreign adversary governments cannot influence Tennessee policy, cannot coerce Tennesseans, cannot use agents to advance their agenda in this state. I agree with that principle, but the Israeli government has paid for Tennessee legislators to travel to Israel, lobby for the General Assembly to pass lots of laws that affect them. So I have to ask, is the principle that foreign governments shouldn't influence our state, or is it the principle that only certain foreign governments shouldn't? Because if we actually believe that Tennessee's laws should be written by Tennesseans for Tennesseans, free from foreign pressure, then the principle has to apply across the board. You don't get to criminalize foreign influence from Beijing and then roll out the red carpet for Israel. And I urge my colleagues to vote no.
Leader Cochran.
Again, there's a pretty clear difference between an ally and an adversary. Tennessee has relationships with numerous nations. We have trade agreements with Ireland and other general positive relationships with nations across the planet who are allies of the United States. Again, if there is some sort of confusion between our relationship with the Communist Chinese Party and Israel, I don't know how to clear that up anymore. And as far as me arbitrarily defining what a foreign adversary nation is, it is based on the State Department list. If another nation gets added to that, then it will be added to this legislation. The state of Israel is not an adversary. They're not repressing anyone in the United States. I can assure you the Chinese Communist Party is, but if you would like to defend them, please go ahead. You've got 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Representative Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, speaking of Ireland, I know a lot of you are in the Irish caucus. You may not know that the far-left party, Sinn Féin, is the governing party of Ireland. And Ireland has come out in favor of Palestinian statehood again and again. And so I welcome the fact that they are a long-term friend of the United States government and their socialist far-left party, Sinn Féin, that is in power. Thank you so much.
All right. Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And believe it or not, I do have something to say on this bill. First and foremost, it happens. It happens. Leader Cochran, is Israel mentioned anywhere in this legislation?
Leader Cochran.
Hey, sir, repeat that one more time, Representative. I'm sorry.
Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Speaker. Leader Cochran, is Israel mentioned anywhere in this legislation?
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, it is not. Thank you.
Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Leader Cochran, thank you for bringing this piece of legislation. And we have spoken on another piece of legislation in committee. The reality is today we do have nations that want to see us overthrown and done away with. Anything that we can do to strengthen penalties against those nations and defend ourselves against those nations, we should be doing it. Thank you for bringing this bill, and I look forward to voting for it.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two questions. Does this impact or limit this state's trade with any of these countries in any way? Because we have a lot of exports and imports going to and from China. So does this inhibit our economic involvement or participation with these governments?
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the question. No, it does not. This is specifically if one of those foreign adversary nations is taking action that would be repressing someone's freedom or oppressing them in some way. It does not speak to trade agreements.
Chairman Clemens.
And would this legislation apply? Well, let me say this. So a few years ago, we had a sitting U.S. Senator host a delegation from the Russian Federation here to Tennessee, took them around during election day, took them into voting locations before an election. Would that activity be covered by this legislation anyway? And would that sitting U.S. Senator be covered by this legislation?
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I suppose if a member of that party or delegation had attempted to repress a United States citizen during their visit, it perhaps could apply, but otherwise, no.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this speaks to interfering with constitutional conduct, which voting would be covered under that. So, and there have been allegations, Russian Federation, I think pretty substantiated allegations, Russian Federation's been involved or trying to impact our elections. So again, to the extent a sitting U.S. Senator brought a member of the Russian Federation into Tennessee, into a voting place or a voting precinct, I guess my question is, would that sitting U.S. Senator be subject to this, or would that government be subject to this law?
Leader Cochran.
In whatever scenario, if someone is acting as an agent of a foreign adversary, in the hypothetical, sure. If someone is acting as an official agent of a foreign adversary, this law applies.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sounds good.
Representative Capley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move previous question.
Previous question be called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2279 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 77, 12 nays, 2 present not voting.
House Bill 2279, having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. Mr. Exterior table. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 754 by Chairman Faison relative to healthcare.
Chairman Faison, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage on House Bill 754 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Faison moves passage. By second, Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Health Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Terry, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Terry moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment makes changes relative to insurance coverage. Move to adopt.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 2. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 2 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 3 by Representative Jones of Davidson, Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Representative Jones, you recognize.
Thank you, colleagues. This bill follows one of the darkest periods in our history where people who the government does not like are placed on a list and surveilled. And so my amendment is doing something that I think we can all get behind, particularly my libertarian friends on the other side of the aisle. It's about ensuring that the personal data of patients is not turned over to the state and prohibits the state from publishing their personal health information on the state website. Now, I wanted to take us to another scenario if we pass this bill. And I hope that my friends like Representative Fritz, Representative Halsey, all the libertarians listen to this part. If we allow the government to put the public health information of people we don't like this time because they're transgender, what if it's people who don't get vaccines next time that we allow their public health information to be displayed? What if it's people who get a procedure because, maybe they get a hair implant or they're on Ozempic? Do we want to put, what stops that precedent? And so to my libertarian friends, I ask you to stand up for what you claim, which is that we don't want Big Brother surveilling the people of our state just because we don't like them. This amendment says that we're going to respect HIPAA, that if patients' information, their name, their location, their prescriptions, their location information is not for public review, because this bill does not serve any type of public health interests and it doesn't serve any compelling government interests. It's really rooted in intimidation. to say, doctors, if you perform these procedures on adults, mind you, let's back up a little bit. This is not about children. This is about adults, consenting adults getting health care. We're putting adults' health information on the state website so that the state or people who may not like them can locate them. And what I'm really worried about are people in rural counties where there's much fewer population. And if you put up the location of someone and say, well, this is their age, this is their biological sex, this is, what their identifying information, those people can be targeted. And so I ask you to consider this bill. I know that many of the decisions made in this building are determined outside of these chambers. You come to your caucus meeting, you make up your bill, but I ask the libertarians, that's who I'm appealing to say that we really stand for libertarian values. We don't want the government having access to people's health information, private health information, and publishing that on a state website, creating a registry of people we don't like. It's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous precedent. I ask that you all listen to the values that we vote to uphold. This is something that no other state has done because it is that insane. And so this amendment is simply seeking to remove the provision that would allow the state to mandate, not just advise, but mandate doctors to turn over this information to the state and then mandate the state to publish this on a state website. How terrifying is that? Next, it's going to be vaccines. Next, it's going to be people who get hair implants, maybe. Next, it's going to be people who get a certain procedure done. We're creating a dangerous precedent, and I move for consideration of this amendment.
I think, you were timely, so it would be adoption this time.
Thank you, colleagues. I move for adoption of this amendment.
Representative Jones moves adoption of amendment number 3, properly seconded. Any discussion on amendment? Leader Lamberth, you recognize.
Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? There's not. We're on the board. All those in favor of adopting amendment number 3, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 21, 69 nays.
Amendment number 3 fell. Next amendment, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Faison, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, certainly good to be with you this morning. What we have noticed since about 2014 in America, the notion of gender affirming care and transgender surgeries has really exploded and taken off. What we have also seen since 2014, where it really took off, is that there are a lot of people who have buyer's remorse, and they wish they would not have gone down that road. Since that time, there are plenty of insurance companies who paid for the people to go through the affirmative care, the transgender surgeries, but they couldn't, if a person changed their mind, they weren't able to go back without paying that out of their pocket. I've met with plenty of people who wish that they could go back and say, you know what, I made a mistake when I was younger. I want to undo what I've done. This bill just simply says, if you are an insurance provider that sells insurance to people for gender affirming care and transgender surgeries, that you also have to include detransition as well. Now, you heard earlier from the representative from Davidson County talk about HIPAA laws. So I want to put your mind at ease. This bill does not break any HIPAA laws. We're not sharing personal data about you. There is something that you need to know about that I've learned through this called de-identified clinical data. De-identified clinical data is patient health information from medical records, trials, or electronic health records that have been all direct identifiers removed, so it can no longer be identified back to a specific individual. And here are the key elements that per HIPAA and safe harbor method use here in the United States. And according to this bill that we're passing, you're voting on right now, we're using the same de-identified clinical data methods. We remove all the name, the address, the phone number, emails, social security numbers, dates except for a year specific, geographical data that's anything smaller than a state, medical records, numbers, account numbers, biometric identifiers, facial photos, etc., and any other unique code that could possibly identify a person. But it's important for us in the government to make sure we're constantly looking at science. Research and collecting data gives us the ability to study trends, outcomes, and effectiveness of treatment without knowing who the patient is. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Faison renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So going back to your registry, is it going to be by county? Will it have counties listed or what?
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Representative Mitchell. We remove everything except that it would be somebody that was treated in the state of Tennessee.
Representative Mitchell.
State data specific, nothing else.
Representative Mitchell.
Thanks.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, is this your last bill?
Chairman Faison.
I hope not.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, I'm sure the transgender community is appreciative of you being the new transgender remorse spokesperson. But I'm trying to understand, how is it that you got here? You said that you spoke to many transgender individuals. How many transgender individuals did you speak to about that wanted to come back, that wanted this legislation?
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I can't give you a specific number. I've met with dozens, had one come and testify in committee that had gone through a complete transition from a male to a female, realized he's made a mistake, and the horrors of what he went through trying to get back to becoming a man. Dozens.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I was there for that commentary. In some cases, I vote with the other side on when it comes to some legislation that we pass in this regard. But this one is one that I'm not going to be able to vote for. And one of the reasons, is because we're talking about grown folks, right, that made a decision, and grown folks that should make a decision as to whether or not or how they go back to from where they came. And so, to put a mandate on, these adults, right, to have to, basically buy two policies, I think is a bit overreach, on behalf of the state. And I do have another question in regards to TennCare. How does this affect TennCare, those that are on TennCare?
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They would have both.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you. I'm not sure if the sponsor had something else to say that he was able to.
Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You, represented from Shelby County, you were referencing the fact that they would have to buy insurance that they might not want to use. The way insurance works here in America, you personally right now have insurance that you pay for or stuff that you're never going to use. That's a common practice. If you were married, you would have birth insurance to be able to birth a child. You're not going to birth one.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But more in regard to the TennCare question. So if a citizen is transgender and he's on TennCare, is it going to be mandated that TennCare return them back to the original space?
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So TennCare isn't actually an insurance company. TennCare farms out the specific insurance. If in your pursuit buying insurance and you are under TennCare and you buy through Cigna, through Blue Cross Blue Shield, if you buy transgender services, you're also going to be buying detransition services.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And there are some cases where TennCare is performing these services. There are some cases where TennCare is performing these services. So is TennCare going to be through the MCOs? Is TennCare going to be mandated, or those MCOs to provide that service to reverse it for those individuals that are under TennCare?
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The answer to that question is simple. If you are a provider in the state of Tennessee and you sell transition therapy, you also have to sell detransition. That being said, I was just reminded by our colleague that we have passed a law in Tennessee that TennCare will not be covering, any MCO under TennCare will not be covering transgender surgeries.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I voted for that law, but that is elective transgender procedures. Elective, that's the key. So non-elective, TennCare does provide. And so that means that through their MCOs, that means, I'm assuming, that means that TennCare would also have to provide through their MCOs the reversal. Is that a good assumption?
Chairman Faison.
That's correct.
Representative Parkinson.
Oh, okay.
Deputy Speaker Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question's been called. There's objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of previous question vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 70, 21 nays.
Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 754 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Let the journal reflect Representative Towns is excused. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 70, 21 nays, 2 present, not voting.
House Bill 754, having received the constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 562 by Representative Fritz.
Mr. Trooper. Thank you. Representative Fritz, that's your desk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would request that we roll House Bill 562 for 2 weeks.
Without objection, roll 2 weeks. Hey, Ms. Trooper, remove that person too, if you don't mind. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2338 by Representative Hemmer and others relative to Property Owners Association's responsibility to maintain fidelity bonds. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Hemmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute conform to Senate Bill 2326.
Deputy Speaker Zachary, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move we roll this to the Hill.
Without objection, roll to the Hill. Call next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 734 by Chairman Hicks relative to dispute resolution process for matters involving real property. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill is on the desk.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute conform to Senate Bill 0866.
Chairman Hicks moves to substitute conform to Senate Bill 866, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Hicks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 0866 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Hicks moves passage of Senate Bill 866 on third and final consideration. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1, Mr. Speaker, same as Senate Amendment number 2.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill brings clarity and certainty to the Tennessee law regarding construction-related claims. It establishes a clear 4-year statute of repose for actions involving deficiencies in the design, planning, or construction of improvements to real property beginning at substantial completion. I renew my motion.
Chairman Hicks renews this motion. Any discussion on the bill? Deputy Speaker Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 866, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 85, 4 nays, 2 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 866, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1639 by Chairman Doggett and others relative to Office of Homeland Security. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk.
Chairman Doggett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1880.
Chairman Doggett moves substitute conform to Senate Bill 1880, properly seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Doggett, you're recognized. Doggett. At the well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1880 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Doggett moves passage of Senate Bill 1880 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Good. Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Moved it up.
Chairman Crawford moves adoption of committee amendment number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of committee amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 2 by Jones and Davidson. Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Representative Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you, colleagues. What are we doing here, friends? This is like a dystopian novel. So we just had the bill to create a registry of trans people we don't like. And now this bill is about creating a secret police force that is not subject to public records requests. That the governor, we're expanding the power of the governor and the Department of Homeland Security to create a protected agency that is not subject to transparency, public records, or the light of review by members of our community. And I think I'm just going to pause real quick because I think people are upset by what's happening, and we have to acknowledge that what is happening here is not normal. I don't think when we leave here, we can be proud of what happened for the people of Tennessee. It's honestly shameful to be here. And for those of you who are retiring, I hope we can do better. Don't let this be your legacy when you leave this chamber. And so this amendment is about saying that any records from the Office of Homeland Security and Public Records are subject to disclosure upon request pursuant to the Tennessee Public Records Act, codified in Title 10, Chapter 7, Part 5, unless such records are deemed confidential pursuant to federal law. And so unless there's a danger to our Homeland Security, unless there's a trade interest, personal privacy information, national defense info, trade secrets, those would be maintained as classified. But it's just simply saying that other records by the Department of Safety and Homeland Security should be subject to public review. This bill is an attempt to create a police force that is outside the scope of public scrutiny and therefore can act outside the law. Secret police forces are never on the side of democracy or liberty or freedom, and they occupy the darkest and most heinous parts of global history. Secret police abuse their positions because absolute power corrupts absolutely. It is not a matter of if, but when this will occur. Let's talk about some of the conduct that happened with this agency that is now we want to protect and keep from public review. Police, both federal and state, referred to their counter operation in May of 2025 in my district and some of my colleagues here from Davidson County as hunting time and calling them the wolf's den. A group of THP and ICE agents were recorded saying, "We got to give them the mark of the beast, Team 6. Another quote said, "He works for a restaurant. He's their manager." An agent said mockingly, "The guacamole is never going to taste the same now." This is the dehumanizing language coming from this agency we're seeking to protect and not make subject to public review. And I think that the only reason why they're bringing this bill is because they know that what is going on is wrong, and so they don't want the public to see what is happening. People who are confident that what they're doing is constitutional and moral and right don't need to hide things and make secret police forces. What we know to be true is that as we look at who presents this bill today in the House and the Senate, that this is a bill from the administration. And so what the Republican caucus does is anytime the governor's office sends a bill, we know that everyone falls in line and votes for the legislation as is, and there's no real time for conversation or amendments. There's no real time to really consider the rippling impacts of this legislation. And so all we can do is get on the record for future generations to see that when you vote on this, that there are people standing up against this, saying that this is wrong and that we're not going to be on the wrong side of history. There's going to come a time where you won't occupy these seats and your grandchildren will say, "Who created a secret police force? Who created a registry of people we don't like?" And we can stand here and say, we did not stand for that. Even though we had only 20 votes or 15 votes, however many votes we had, we knew that there's something higher than a supermajority. And if I can preach for a little bit, it's a supernatural God who's going to hold you all accountable one day for these abuses. There's nothing I can say that will change your mind. So I'm just going to say that one day your power will not always be forever. That your power will not maintain forever. And someday the pendulum will shift.
Hey, Representative Jones, you are so far off the bill. We're moving on. Representative Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move previous question on the amendment and on the bill.
Proper motion, properly seconded. There's objection. We're on the board for previous question on the amendment and on the bill. All those in favor of previous question, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 68, 21 nays.
Previous question prevails. We're voting on amendment number 2. All those in favor, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 25, 65 nays.
Amendment number 2 fails. We are now voting on the bill. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1880 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Let the journal reflect. Representative Powers is excused. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 68, 24 nays.
Senate Bill 1880, having received the constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Let journal reflect. Representative Dixie and Hemmer are excused. Oh, sorry, undo Hemmer. Very good. The Post-it note was wrong. All right, Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Well, Speaker, it was almost right. He's trying to catch a flight, I think. But at this time, Mr. Speaker, I would move we take up item 8 that had been previously rolled to the Hill, House Bill 2338.
Without objection, so ordered. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Item 8, House Bill 2338 by Representative Hemmer and others relative to Property Owners Association's responsibility to maintain fidelity bonds. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill's on the desk.
Representative Hemmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2326.
Representative Hemmer moves substitute form Senate Bill 2326, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Hemmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2326 on third and final consideration.
Representative Hemmer moves passage of Senate Bill 2326 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House Amendment 1 by Representative Hemmer, Mr. Speaker, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Representative Hemmer, you're recognized.
The Senate amendment effective date is already on the bill, so I move to withdraw.
Without objection, amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Hemmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill amends Tennessee law to require homeowners association to carry a blanket fidelity bond or insurance policy. The purpose is to protect HOA members' money from losses caused by theft, fraud, or dishonesty of board members, officers, employees of property management companies. The bill defines key terms like board of directors, declaration, and homeowners association, so there's no confusion about who is covered. Then sets minimum coverage requirements based on the HOA financial activity, ensuring associations have enough protection relative to the amount of money they handle. This bill was brought to me by a bunch of constituents here in Middle Tennessee. It's affected 4 different judicial jurisdictions that have had a massive fraud happen to them. So we're looking to put these protections in law so this won't happen again. One of these fraud actually occurred to one member of our staff here at the General Assembly as well. So we're looking to protect future HOAs and the residents they have. With that, I renew my motion.
Representative Hemmer renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is this your last bill?
Representative Hemmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Confucius say every day may be your last day, but I don't know if this is my last bill or not, but as a proud member of the minority, I feel like every bill may be my last bill up here.
Representative Mitchell.
Exactly. Well, I just wanted to say you have served your district well. You've come here and been a great member of this General Assembly. I'm proud to be your seatmate, and I'm proud to call you family.
All right. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I was going to ask what my friend from Davidson County had asked, but do you also have somewhere you need to be right now?
Right here, Representative Hemmer. Right here.
Agreed. Right here, Mr. Speaker.
Leader Lambert.
So if we wanted to have a really lengthy discussion on this bill, would that be okay if we spent about 30 or 40 minutes? And would that alter your plans today in any way?
Representative Hemmer.
I'm at the will of the body.
Leader Lambert.
All right, members, I actually do think he has a plane he's trying to catch, and I'm just messing with you a little bit, but it has been an honor to serve with you. If this were to be your last bill, congratulations on your term of service here in this body, sir. Thank you.
All right, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2326, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 91, no nays.
Senate Bill 2326, having received a constitutional majority, hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reads here is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that brings us back to item 11. Item 11, House Bill 2538 by Leader Cochran and others relative to Mega Site Authority, West Tennessee. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Leader Cochran, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2226.
Leader Cochran moves substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2226. Probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2226 on third and final consideration.
Leader Cochran moves passage of Senate Bill 2226 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment 1, same as Senate Amendment 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Same as the Senate amendment. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Leader Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation clarifies the Mega Site Authority of West Tennessee's ability to finance water and wastewater infrastructure serving that site. Any bonds issued must comply with the Local Government Public Obligations Act and receive approval from the State Funding Board. This legislation also makes it very clear that these bonds are obligations of the authority only and do not constitute a debt or liability on the state of Tennessee. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Leader Cochran renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2226, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 84, 2 nays, 2 present, not voted.
Senate Bill 2226, having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reads here is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2632 by Speaker Pro Tem Marsh relative to the Shelbyville Power, Water, and Sewage System.
Speaker Pro Tem Marsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of HB 2632 on third and final consideration.
Speaker Pro Tem Marsh moves passage. Following second, Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Private Acts Committee Amendment 1.
Vice Chairman Sparks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt and to defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Vice Chairman Sparks moves adoption of Committee Amendment 1. Probably second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment 1 say aye. Aye. Are those opposed? No. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Speaker Pro Tem Marsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. HB 2632 makes minor changes to the Shelbyville, Tennessee charter. It takes the city manager off of the Power and Sewer Board, and it adds a city council member. That's all this bill does.
Renew
my motion.
Speaker Pro Tem Marsh renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question recalls their objection. Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2632 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take a vote.
Ayes 89, no nays.
House Bill 2632, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The motion reads here is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2477 by Representative Parkinson and others relative to compensation for emergency responder deaths in the line of duty. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Representative Parkinson, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2212.
Representative Parkinson moves substitute conform to Senate Bill 2212 without objection. So ordered. Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2212 on third and final consideration.
Representative Parkinson moves passage of Senate Bill 2212 on third and final consideration. By second, Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
Mr. Speaker, no amendments filed.
Representative Parkinson, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is a housekeeping bill that changes the deadline for filing a state line of duty death benefit for firefighters and police officers. And it changes it from its current 3 years from date of death to 3 years from the date of determination of the line of duty death. This bill comes as a result of the death of firefighter Jeff Eric from Memphis, whose line of duty death was classified as a line of duty nearly 5 years after his death. This also adds an appeal process for firefighters to match that of what the police department and police officers already have in statute. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Parker renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Chairman White, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Representative, I appreciate you bringing this bill. Jeff Eric, when I was a principal of a school 150 years ago, Jeff was one of my elementary students. He's a fine young man. He grew up to be a firefighter. He lost his life during the COVID pandemic. They were working overtime many hours. And this will really help his family out because they've been fighting this for a while. So thank you for this.
Representative Parks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, thank you for that. I appreciate that, and I'm sure his family appreciates it as well.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, let the posted note say that that Representative Hemmer is now excused. Mr. Clerk, all those in favor of Senate Bill 2212, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. All those in favor? Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 90, no nays.
Senate Bill 2212, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. Most reconsider is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1499 by Representative Reedy and others relative to Article 5 conventions. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Reedy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1567.
Representative Reedy moves to substitute and conform Senate Bill 1567, probably second without objection. So, Representative Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1567 on third and final consideration.
Representative Reedy moves passage of Senate Bill 1567 on third and final consideration, probably second. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Speaker. Same as the Senate amendment, move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Reedy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I need to give you some context of what we're trying to do here. This is not a call for an Article 5 Convention of the States. 2014, 2015, we created the Faithful Delegate Act. It's the same time we passed the Convention of the States Article 5 resolution. After that time, with Senator Bell, Representative Butt, and myself, we went to Colonial Williamsburg for a simulated Convention of the States. And when we came back, we found out that we needed to put some guardrails on if and when a convention is ever called across our country for an Article 5, so we could pick delegates. And in this bill, it will change that name to commissioners, change that, put guardrails on it. So if we send somebody to this convention, we can call them back if they go off reservation on what the call is all about. So what does the bill do? It makes various changes to the qualifications and requirements for a commissioner, formerly referred to as a delegate, to the Article 5 Convention, and establish guidelines for the commissioner's vacancies. So with that, in the chamber, we have folks with the Convention of the States that helped with this legislation over the last few years, trying to get it right, and hopefully other states will look at what we're doing and do the same. So like I said, if and when a convention is ever called, guardrails are in place. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Reedy renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? None. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1567, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 74, 16 nays.
Senate Bill 1567 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Most reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1788 by Representative Reedy relative to real property ownership. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Reedy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2424.
Representative Reedy moves to substitute and conform Senate Bill 2424, following seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2424 on third and final consideration.
Representative Reedy moves passage of Senate Bill 2424 on third and final consideration, following seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Reedy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, you know, in the past, we've been trying to make sure we're protecting our property, all state property, all agriculture, commercial, retail, from foreign adversaries. And over the years, I've been happy to have Senator Frank Nicely be my Senate sponsor. In doing so, this bill comes to me from Senator Crow, and the two things that it does, it creates the Senator Frank Nicely National Security and Economic Protection Act, but then it also adds adds prohibited foreign parties, PFPs, to the current list of foreign controlled entities that prohibited from acquiring by grant, purchase, device, or others an interest in non-agriculture land in the state. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Reed renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, all those in favor of Senate Bill 2424, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 82, 3 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 2424 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2506 by Representative Powell and others relative to confidential records. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bills on this.
Chairman Howell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1464.
Chairman Howell moves to substitute and conform Senate Bill 1464, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Howell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1464 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Howell moves passage of Senate Bill 1464 on third and final consideration. Block seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Amendment 2 by Representative Jones and Davidson. Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Representative Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I want us to review what has happened so far. This bill is now about trying to further protect the information of officers involved in public service. And so I spoke to a few officers actually in my county who said that anybody who signs up to be a police officer is proud to display their badge, doesn't need to wear a mask, doesn't need to hide their identity. That real law enforcement officers are very comfortable with trying to have community-based policing where people know who they are and they don't have to operate in secret. And so we just voted without any real debate on a bill to create a secret police force in Tennessee, expanding their jurisdiction, and we didn't even allow debate on that. And now we have this bill that says that we're going to further criminalize anybody who tries to ensure transparency at the local level of law enforcement officers who are supposed to be serving the public and being paid for by taxpayers. And so this amendment says that the name and badge number of a federal, state, or local officer, agent, or official participating in federal immigration enforcement activities in the state it does not have to be concealed and should be subject to open records inspection unless, here's the unless, such officers, agents, or officials are serving in an undercover capacity, are conducting operations related to terrorism or gang violence. So there are exceptions. But if you're not involved in an undercover operation, if you're not investigating terrorism, and if you're not investigating gang violence, there's no reason to conceal your identity from routine immigration work. And really what this is about protecting bad actors. That we had a joint operation between THP and ICE in which we had conduct unbecoming of law enforcement where they were treating it as a game to go after immigrants, calling it hunting time, violating the due process and constitutional rights of members of our community. And what this bill goes to say is that we cannot know the names of the officers who are part of that operation and abuse their authority because we believe in secrecy. I hope that some of you will consider this amendment. There are exceptions in it for some of the concerns, and I brought this to some members on the other side. They said, well, what about gang violence? What about terrorism? There's exceptions for that, but if you're not involved in that, this is a very reasonable amendment. The only time in our history where we hid the identities of people involved in police work that I can think of are, one, the Gestapo, and number two, the Klan, who hid behind white sheets. But outside of that, why would we try and conceal the identities of people who are being paid for with taxpayer money and who are supposed to be serving the public? And so I hope that you consider this amendment and we get back to something that is reasonable. This is not about left or right, but this is about what is right and wrong. And it is wrong in America. There's nothing more un-American than having a secret police force where we don't know what's happening. No one wanted to ask questions about why we were expanding the authority of the Department of Safety and Homeland Security and making it a secret police force. No one was allowed to debate that or ask questions about that. That should trouble us all. And now this bill seeks to further expand that and criminalize anybody who tries to ensure transparency. At any other time besides this time that we're in, this would be deemed a reasonable amendment. At any other time besides the time that we're in, this would be common sense. And so I hope that we get back to a little bit of common sense in this body and take off the veil and take off the mask and let people know that we do not want secret police force in the 21st century. With that, I move for consideration of this amendment. Adoption.
Proper motion, probably seconded. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of adopting amendment number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 18, 72 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Amendment number 2 fails. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Howell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, the purpose of this bill is to protect the personal safety of local, state, and federal law enforcement officers and their families. When an officer is engaged in an operation involving illegal immigration, the bill requires that the names, home addresses, and contact information, as well as other identifying details such as what type of car they drive, their personal vehicle, their tags, things like that, will remain confidential. There's a reason for this. We've seen what's happened in Minnesota and some other states when these officers are simply doing what they've been hired to do, and that's enforce federal immigration law. This bill also requires that specific details about an illegal immigration operation remain confidential, such as dates, times, locations, logistics, strategies, etc. The bill applies to all state and local government entities. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Howell renews his motion. Any discussion? Representative Hicks of Washington, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the previous question.
Previous question been called. There's objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of previous question, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 69, 18 nays.
Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1464 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 70, 19 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 1464 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsiders table. Call next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1911 by Representative Shaw and others relative to public records. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1970.
Representative Shaw moves substitute and conform Senate Bill 1970, public seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1970 on third and final consideration.
Representative Shaw moves passage of Senate Bill 1970 on third and final consideration. Public seconded. Mr. Clerk, call for First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1.
Move to adopt.
Chairman Crawford moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment number 1, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopt. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation will allow individuals who are not a citizen of the state of Tennessee to inspect or receive a copy of any of their law enforcement records pertaining solely to individuals, including but not limited to an arrest report, incident report, crash report, or citation. With that explanation, I stand for any questions and ask for approval of this legislation.
Representative Shaw renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Representative Shaw, I don't think this is your last bill, but I did think it was a little suspect that you asked Senator Ackberry to join you in the chamber just for some moral support. We do welcome her back to the House.
All right. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1970 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 80, no nays, 8 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 1970 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1555 by Chairman Slater, relative to prohibited uses of electronic devices while operating a motor vehicle. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Slater, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1591.
Chairman Slater moves substitute conform Senate Bill 1591, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1591 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Slater moves passage of Senate Bill 1591 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the first amendment.
House Transportation Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Howell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Slater, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill addresses violations of the current law related to driving while holding an electronic device. Current law caps court costs at $10 without any state, local litigation taxes. This proposal removes the $10 cap and subjects defendants to 50% of the standard court costs and litigation taxes involving traffic citations. I renew my motion.
Chairman Slater renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, all those in favor of Senate Bill 1591 vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk. Take the vote.
Ayes 37, 48 nays, 3 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 1591, having failed to receive a constitutional majority, I declare it re-referred to the Committee of Calendar and Rules. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1729 by Chairman Slater, relative to education.
Chairman Slater, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1729 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Slater moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Education Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for explanation.
Chairman White moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1, probably second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. You adopt it. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Slater, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This proposed legislation does two things. First, it allows independent homeschoolers to choose either the TCAP or a nationally norm reference test. Second, it recognizes the classic learning tests and related programs as a choice for K-12 purposes. I renew my motion.
Chairman Slater renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor of House Bill 1729 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 67, 20 nays.
House Bill 1729 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1903 by Chairman Terry and others related to Homestead exemptions. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1935.
Chairman Terry moves to substitute form Senate Bill 1935, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1935 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Terry moves passage of Senate Bill 1935 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Farmer moves adoption. Committee Amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill entitles someone who is 18 years of older and has a developmental or intellectual disability to a homestead exemption, and it authorizes that any homestead exemption paid to such individual be deposited in the child's ABLE account. I renew my motion.
Chairman Terry renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, all those in favor of Senate Bill 1935 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 88, no nays.
Senate Bill 1935 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2382 by Chairman Vaughn and others relative to reverse mortgages.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
I'm recognized without my script. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2382 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Vaughn moves passage by mistake. Mr. Clerk, call the first amendment.
House Commerce Committee Amendment Number 1.
Vice Chairman Bricken, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to adopt.
Vice Chairman Bricken moves adoption of Committee Amendment Number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment Number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Tennessee Reverse Mortgage Innovation Act brings much needed revisions to a 30-year-old law, bringing it up to date with modern banking procedures. This is brought to us by the Tennessee Mortgage Bankers Association. And I renew my motion.
Chairman Vaughn renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the Representative Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, sponsor, did Tom Selleck approve this legislation? Did Tom Selleck approve this legislation? Because I want to know if it's your first rodeo.
Chairman Vaughn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tom Selleck and Morgan Freeman both have endorsed this legislation, ma'am.
Representative Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2382 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, as any member was changed their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 69, 13 nays, 3 present, not voting.
House Bill 2382 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Motion to reconsider is tabled. Leader Lambert, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to take up item 23 at this time.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Clerk, call the next bill.
Item 23, House Bill 1952 by Chairman Williams and others relative to optometry. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute conform Senate Bill 2076.
Chairman Williams moves substitute form Senate Bill 2076. Probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2076 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Williams moves passage of Senate Bill 2076 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Health Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Terry moves adoption of Committee Amendment Number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of committee of adopting Committee Amendment Number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1952 as amended makes a revision to the Tennessee Optometry Practice Act. What I found earlier this year is that there are Tennessee students who are going to Tennessee universities to practice their full scope of their practice. And because they were not able to perform those services, which is what this bill does, changes, they have been going to practice optometry in other states. 15 other states expand the scope of practice similarly what this bill does as amended. This would allow Tennessee students to go to Tennessee schools to stay here in Tennessee to practice in rural areas across the state. We've heard a lot about rural health transformation. That's what this bill does. Currently, 57 Tennessee counties currently have no ophthalmologist. And of those counties, only 57 counties, only 41 counties of those have optometrists that practice in them. This bill would simply allow 3 new procedures that are done with local anesthetic that are called YAG, laser capsulotomy, selective laser trabeculoscopy, and a YAG peripheral iridotomy. That's what this bill does. These procedures are performed safely by optometrists in 14 other states. And I hear you laughing, but I did not take Latin. These procedures are performed safely in 14 other states with a complication rate below 1,000th of 1%. With that description, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Williams renews motion. Any discussion on the bill? Chairman Todd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I guess my first inclination is to ask you to repeat those words, but I'm not going to do that. But I do appreciate the intention of this bill, and I do have a couple of questions. I think it's anytime we can allow folks to do what they're trained to do, it's a good thing. I am mostly asking these questions from the standpoint of a patient and what that patient can expect. So the first question is it a requirement of this bill to assure that these professionals are medically capable of dealing with any and all complications from this new set of procedures that they're being allowed to do within this bill? And that is without pushing those potential problem patients off to an ophthalmologist somewhere.
Chairman Williams.
Yes, sir, they do.
Chairman Todd.
Okay, so that is part of this bill, is that they have to deal with the complications that they may create from these simple procedures.
Chairman Williams.
Thank you. The training that they receive in the school as it relates to how these procedures are done, at that moment is when they get the training associated with what, if there were an emergency, what would happen, how they would handle that. And in most cases, ophthalmologists and optometrists across the state have really good relationships. A lot of it's more about access than it is the procedure.
Chairman Todd.
And that is another thing I really appreciate about this concept, is that we do have a lot of areas where there's no ophthalmologist. And I get that. And I think that's a good thing, that this will help fill that gap. Is the training, is it a proctored training that each of these optometrists would get for these procedures? Is that required, or just maybe watching a video of somebody doing the procedures? How will we really assure that they have adequate training? I guess that's another concern, because I know ophthalmologists literally are trained for most of these procedures, especially with the laser, where they've got another set of eyes in this looking at the same procedure, and they can direct them on that. So are these going through that same process?
Chairman Williams.
Thank you. They are the School of Medicine where they're currently practicing this in Tennessee. They have an ophthalmologist on duty that helps guide them in their training during the entire process. So if that's what you mean by proctoring, I'm not familiar with that definition, but I do know that the ophthalmologist is a part of the School of Optometry that helps train these optometrists to do these practices currently, which is why they're able to do them in other states.
Chairman Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question may cause their objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2076 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 87, nays, one present, not voted.
Senate Bill 2076 having received the constitutional majority, everybody declare pass without objection. Motion reconsider is tabled. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to roll the remainder of today's calendar to Monday's regular calendar.
Proper motion, probably second without objection. So ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business. Okay. Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After consulting with the Minority Caucus Assistant Leader, I move that HJR 1163 be withdrawn from the committee in the House.
You've heard the motion. Any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that HB 1887 be heard in the Insurance Committee next week.
For the motion, any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bills 475 and 794 be heard in the Commerce Committee next week.
For the motion, any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bills 338 and 2341 be heard in the Department of Agency Subcommittee next week.
For the motion, any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bills 1796 and 2085 be heard in the Cities and Counties Subcommittee next week.
For the motion, any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, scheduling and procedural announcements.
Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, cities and counties will meet Tuesday in room 2 at 9 a.m. Cities and counties. Departments and agencies will meet Wednesday at 1:30 in room 1 with state and local convening immediately following departments and agencies.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Next order.
Roll call.
Roll call. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Speaker, 89 members present.
Next order, Mr. Clerk.
It completes the regular order, Mr. Speaker.
Leader Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until 2 p.m. on Monday, March 30th, 2026.
Without objection, the House stands recessed till 2 p.m. on Monday, March 30th, 2026.